some really good runs. Carson Brown picked up a win earlier in the week. Katie Hettinger has been knocking on the door of victory lane all week long as well. She's been fast today. Should be a good competitive 35-lapper coming up first thing tonight.
See the pro late models lined up along the inside wall to the right. They will be the ones on track first for a 35-lap feature event. For the pro late models, they have run 3 nights so far. Connor Jones leading the standings, 196 points over Hunter Wright at 180. Katie Hettinger, good week for her so far. She's been knocking on the door of a feature victory. She's third in the standings. Charlie Keevan, Ryan Luza, fourth and fifth.
Luza has been incredibly fast. He's actually qualified fastest a couple of times so far this week. Has not had any luck whatsoever when it comes feature time. So maybe he can get it together tonight, pick up a good solid finish in the 77 car, get his week turned around.
Moments away from the starting command, another good crowd here at New Smyrna Speedway. There's some of the fans enjoying the warm weather. Quite a few people there in short sleeve shirts and shorts tonight to get us started. Might cool down a little bit later.
Wonder who those guys are pulling for tonight. I think they wear their allegiance on the back of their shirt. Yeah, some Blewett fans here this evening.
And the engines have fired for the pro late models. The starting field expected to be around 30 cars tonight for the pro lates. Let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineup, Charlie. Connor Jones, what a week it's been for him so far when it comes to the pro late models. Jones from Fredericksburg, Virginia, 16 years of age. He's been runner-up in the pro late model standings the last 2 years, and he's got 2 of the 3 wins this week. He got the luck of the draw. He qualified 6th. The invert was 6, puts him on the pole position, and that black and gold number 44. Eddie McDonald making his first start of the week in the 17 coming from the Northeast, and he's going to start outside of row number 1. Row 2 of Brent Cruz in the 24. Of course, a grinding crash a couple of nights ago. A backup car for the 14-year-old driver. A couple of top 10 finishes, including a second on opening night before the 18th place finish and a DNF a couple nights ago. Carson Brown rounds out our top 4. Carson in the 25 car picked up a win before a DNF a couple nights later in the most recent pro late model race.
Ryan Luza qualified 2nd tonight. He will start from the 5th position. And our fast qualifier, Katie Hettinger, in the number 81. Katie's picked up a couple of top 5s, including a very narrow runner-up finish here a couple of nights back. Hunter Wright, 2nd in the standings. He's going to go from the 7th position alongside another youngster, Gavin Bichelle, in the number 5. Gavin had a tough start to the week, but he has had a couple of good runs later on.
Mount Juliet, Tennessee driver Hunter Wright in the 29 car has been fast at times. Actually, Chase Johnson in the 20 car in the 9th starting position. Chase is a driver that has been fast this week, but hasn't put it all together. And he's got a best finish of 7th. That was on opening night. He's not been able to back that up the last couple of races. He'll try to race his way through up through the top 7 or 8 positions and battle for the win tonight. Gus Dean in the 56 starts in the 10th position. Jimmy Renfrew Jr. in the 00 starts 11th. Rounding out our top 12 starters, the teammate to the 25 of Carson Brown is the 26 of Dawson Sutton.
Charlie Keevan, top 5 in the standings. He's going to roll off 13 alongside the defending champion here at the World Series, Michael Hind, all the way back in 14th. It has been a tough week for Michael Hind here this year. We'll put him outside row number 7. TJ DeCare, he's going to start 15th tonight in the number 88 automobile alongside Mitch Haver in the number 7.
Corey Luciano in the 94 will start in the 17th positions. We're around the mid-pack mark of our starting lineup. Ruben Caceres in the 77 will start 18th. Starting in the 19th positions, the 00 of Jeremy Wharf, and starting 20th, the 16 of TJ Monroe.
Thomas Chrysonis will start 21st in the 16 car alongside Kent Bowledge in the number 61. Crash, Johnny Aramendia will start 23rd in that Ben Kennedy Racing number 58 alongside Tony Breidinger in the number 1.
Mike Mayberry in the 45 will start in the 25th spot. Starting 26th, the 17 of veteran Kevin Folan. Starting 27th is Ryan Camish in the 42, and Glenn Stiers in the 0 starts 28th.
Mario Hart will start 29th alongside Dakota Stroop, scheduled to round out our 30-car starting lineup. Dakota has had a tough week, big-time crash in practice back on, I believe, Saturday, forced him to go to a backup car. The car's been fast. He just hasn't been able to get the track position needed to end up towards the front of the field one of these nights. If tonight's the night, he's going to have to pass a lot of cars to get up to the front of the field as we circulate behind the pace car. Connor Jones and Eddie McDonald, the front row. There's talk about interesting ends of the spectrum right there. The age and experience spectrum right there. You could not probably get any further apart here this evening.
Rolling under yellow to get some heat in the tires before we begin this 35-lap race to start us for night number 6. And Jesse Punch did a great job down at the pits this week. Tonight, Jacqueline Drake comes along. She'll be with us the rest of the week, and Jacqueline joins us for the first time. Welcome to New Smyrna, Jacqueline Drake.
Thanks for having me, guys, here at the World Series of Asphalt Racing, and we are trackside. And that number 20, Chase Johnson, we caught up with him. He is starting 9th in this feature event, but he said in practice they noticed that they are having engine issues. They're going to see how it irons out right here in the feature race, and they may have to go to a backup car tomorrow.
There you go. We're going to find out here pretty shortly on how it's going to go for the number 20 car. Going to double up and go 2 to go at the line this time. We are just a couple of paces away from going green on this 35-lap feature for the Pro Late models. Connor Jones definitely would be the favorite. 2 wins in 3 races, and also had another solid run in the other effort. And that was a 3rd-place finish on the podium all week, and he's built up a sizable point advantage over the first 3 events.
2-time runner-up in the championship standings here at the World Series. It's been a memorable week for Connor Jones. You mentioned those 2 wins. Also announced earlier in the week that he will run a handful of races for ThorSport Racing in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series coming up in 2023. So a week to remember for sure for young Connor Jones.
Rest of the schedule for the evening. Our second race of the night will be the Florida Modified 35-lap feature. Super late models to run 35. And then the Tour Type Modifieds and the John Blewett III Memorial 76. 1 to go signal from Ralph Miller to get us started for tonight's racing. The Pro Lates were a little on the rough side for their opening race of the week. The last two have been pretty exciting. Good battles, mostly clean. Didn't tear up a lot of equipment in those last 2 races, but they're ready to go green coming off of turn 4 this time. See how event number 4 for these competitors go. Got a 100-lapper coming up later this week.
Let's keep an eye on Katie Hettinger in the number 81, our quick qualifier tonight, starting outside row number 3. She's been pretty solid all week long as we pick up the pace to come to green.
Jones on the inside, McDonald on the outside, and we're underway at New Smyrna Speedway for the 57th running of the World Series. The Pro Late models on track first.
Eddie McDonald drifting up the racetrack. That's going to let Connor Jones take the lead unchallenged down the backstretch. First battle on the racetrack for 3rd. Brent Cruz in the backup car to the inside. Carson Brown already a winner here in 2023. Ooh, they're going to knock fenders going down into turn 1.
Side by side. Oh, there's Cruz making some contact. He's trying to correct. Hettinger into the wall. That will bring out our first yellow flag. And, man, a lot of cars coming in there late. The 81 of Hettinger up into the wall. And you can see the fluid coming out of the 81 car. She was up among our top 5 in points. Was 3rd in the standings. Had a couple of podium finishes. Going to be able to drive this one away. Might be putting some fluid down on the track in the process, though.
Oh, that is a tough break for our quick qualifier tonight. She's wisely going to bring that car to a stop. I think somebody let her know there's some fluid coming out there. And rather than dirty up the racetrack, she's going to bring it to a stop there on the back. Just past the gate there, down the back straightaway. And really nothing she could have done to avoid that. Carson Brown was all kinds of sideways there, and he corrected, and it bit back to the right, and she just happened to be there, and up into the outside wall she went. I do believe there's going to be some damage to the right front suspension of that car in addition to the radiator damage. So tough way to end the night for Katie Hettinger. Our quick qualifier, just 1 lap in the books.
Track crew will hook it up and go. 1 lap completed. 34 to go. Taking a look at the FloRacing replay. You can see Bushell got up into the wall right here.
Ooh.
That's the 5-car of Bushell.
Wow.
Gets up into the wall as he was caught in the third groove and kind of ran out of room, and then you can see the contact down below. It was a pretty crazy first lap.
Yeah, all kinds of action all over the place right there.
And then here's the Hettinger deal. You see Brent Cruz and the 25 of Carson Brown get together. Hettinger nowhere to go.
She thought she had a clear lane up there, and she went to the top side of the racetrack, and right as she did that, that's when the 25 car, Carson Brown, bit back to the right, closed that lane up, and they made contact. And she bounced off of Carson and then off the outside wall and into an early end of her evening in a very tough break. That car has been incredibly fast. Of course, she was involved in an incident on the opening night. Still raced her way back up into the top 5 and had another spin late in the race while she was battling for that 5th position. But after that, she has been incredibly solid all week long. Not that she wasn't solid that night, but incredibly solid all week long. Had a runner-up finish the other evening, and look for more tonight, and it's just not meant to be here this evening for Katie Hettinger. That Anthony Campy Racing number 81 on the hook, and will be headed down into the pits.
So just one down and 34 to go. If you haven't seen some of our coverage this week, they have a choose rule for all of the divisions. On the restart, with 2 laps to go before they go back to green, they get a chance to choose the inside lane or the outside lane, each driver as they come down the front stretch. And they will be doing just that. One of the drivers we saw get into the wall in turn number 4 was the number 5 of Gavin Bushell. Jacqueline?
Yeah, Gavin Bushell came in, the number 5. They did a quick check under the hood just to make sure there was damage to the front end of that late model. And they also checked the front tire. They were thinking that it might actually be flat, but they didn't need to use that spare tire and sent him back out to the back of this field. We'll be with the 81 in just a moment.
Yeah, Gavin Bushell in the number 5 trying to continue on, but hitting pretty solidly the right side of that race car. See, the tires were white-walled and probably bent some components in the process.
Yeah, he was way up on that wall. Gavin Bushell coming off of turn 4. Big time hit.
So waiting on the signal to double up the field. Connor Jones leads the way, 1 lap completed. We're working on cleanup as well of some of the liquid that was put down from the 81 car of Hettinger. That puts McDonald in 2nd, Brown in 3rd, Cruz. Those were the 2 that got together that caused a little bit of a checkup in the accordion effect for Hettinger.
Check me if I'm wrong, but I think those 2 might have also been involved together in that incident that sent Cruz to the backup car the other night. So those 2 been in some pretty close quarters racing all week long. The 25 of Carson Brown and the 24 of Brent Cruz.
Getting ready to see the 2 to go, I believe, in the double up that will take place here at the Arrow on the front straightaway this time. Connor Jones will choose the outside. Eddie McDonald will most likely pull alongside to the low side. And the 3rd place competitor normally goes to the high lane. That's Carson Brown. Oh, a little bit different. Connor Jones elects to take the pole.
No.
That's rare.
We saw that last night, though, on in the 602 mod feature.
Didn't work.
Didn't work, but the pole sitter said, you know what, I made it work on the opening lap. Let's see if I can make it work again. And
similar deal here for Connor Jones. So now, see if McDonald can stay alongside and use that 2nd groove momentum to race around the 44 of Connor Jones for the lead. Coverage continues. The final few nights of the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing right here on FloRacing. If you can't make it to the track, as we get the 1 to go signal. Next time back to green, penalty on the 0 of Glenn's tires. His whole car going to the back.
The whole
back
car
of the field,
going to the back, not just the tires. So hard to believe it's already 2/3 done after tonight. It's gone by quick.
That will be the case. Last night was the midpoint. Middle of that event was the midpoint. We had 4 nights left. This is one of those. Weather forecast looks really good for the final 4 nights. Coming to green, the leader, Connor Jones. In the 44 McDonald in the 17, back underway in turn number 4. Really close racing and back in the field. We've got one around. It's Kevin Folan in the 17. Weaver in the 11 as well. We've got him 3 wide down here. This is all for naught. Look out as the yellow lights come back on.
I think they gave him just enough time to kind of spread out a little bit there off at 2. But we knew that caution was going to come out. Weaver coming together with Folan down there in turns 3 and 4. Folan just kind of got stacked up on that restart, had nowhere to go, and punted from behind him. There's some debris here on the front stretch, so we'll send the track crew out to retrieve that. Shouldn't take too long to get us lined up and back ready to go again. Connor Jones looks like he's going to commit to that bottom lane here on this restart.
I noticed one of the restarts last night, they just stayed lined up the way they were, as they accordion kind of stacked up in the middle of 3 and 4. Mayberry then got into the back of Folan, couldn't get checked up in time. Weaver came piling in. Very minimal damage on the 11.
I think Weaver didn't have anywhere to go, but Folan backed off because he really saw them stacking up in front of him, and Mayberry just got right up underneath him. He didn't have enough time to react to what was happening in front. Truly an accordion-style crash right there, but a lot of damage to the 45 of Mike Mayberry. Kevin Folan with some damage as well.
So they've stayed lined up the way they were on the previous restart after choosing. We noticed this in one of our features last night where they had already chosen. They didn't get back to complete another lap, so they stayed in those positions other than the ones that brought out the yellow. It looks like we will be going 1 to go here. Next time to the green.
Connor Jones down to the inside one more time. We'll have to see if Eddie McDonald was able to keep that momentum up on that outside groove. Looked like he got shoved way to the top side of the racetrack on that initial start and gave up a little bit of ground.
Jacqueline Drake is with Katie Hettinger, who had the accident in turn 2 here before we go green.
And unfortunate end there for the 81. Katie, from your viewpoint, what did you see?
I don't know, just I guess 2 guys racing way too hard for the first lap of a 35 lapper. I mean, I get you got to be aggressive, but just sucks because nothing I could do there. I went high to avoid it, he went high, but really sucks. I had a really fast car, Team Chevy, Wheeler Trucking, Mobile One Fram Filters, Autolite Spark Plugs. I had a really good piece. My guys worked really hard again. We were really fast. Definitely could have won, but just ended our night short.
There you see the action in turn number 4, and a bad break for Katie Hettinger there. Still able to pull a smile out as she is out of the event here early on night number 6. Brent Cruz in the 24, Chase Johnson in the 20, Hunter Wright in the 29 side by side.
Would you be surprised if I told you Brent Cruz and Carson Brown have already knocked fenders on this restart? I'm not. Some aggressive racing on this restart as we see the battle for second now. Eddie McDonald feeling some heat from Ryan Luza in the 77.
Ryan Luza makes the move up to second position. McDonald back to third. Here comes the 25.
And the battle on behind. Brent Cruz has a 2-car battle directly behind him. Casey Johnson, Hunter Wright, a couple of Nashville regulars battling for position. This just outside the top 5. That's 7th and 8th on the racetrack.
The field slows once again for another yellow as Luza was making his moves up through the field. Connor Jones leads the way, and Connor Jones looks fast. Not a big surprise there, as he has been the one to beat here in the Pro Late Models so far. Saw the safety team and the buggy go out onto the track. There they go down the back straightaway just outside of turn number 2. Maybe having some debris to take care of.
Connor Jones with a good jump on that restart, but he's got another good fast race car that will line up alongside. I presume will line up alongside on this restart. We have an entire car back there on the backstretch. I think that's what the debris is. Yeah.
So
understand it may be the 99 car back
John
there.
White's.
Yeah, that would count as debris, wouldn't it? In any case, John White in the 99. Does put us under the caution flag, and I'm starting to lose track, Ryan, I believe, or Adam, I believe this is the third caution, maybe the fourth caution we've had in just 4 laps here. So a halting start to our 35-lap Pro Late Model feature event.
Off to a little bit of a sluggish start here for the Pro Lates. They had a couple of solid races the last 2 times out after a rough one to start the week. And there's the car. John White backing it into the barrels.
Looks like he may have been up against the outside wall, too, at some point. See some white paint on the right side of that automobile.
So, waiting on the tow truck, I believe, to pull that 99 car away from the barrels. Actually, he's going to be able to drive it away. You can see some definite damage to the car, though.
May have had some help just based on that donut on the 99 number on the driver's side door there, but do see a lot of damage to the rear end of that car. And there's the damage to the barrels. Of course, those are filled with water to help lessen the impact, and one of those barrels, that third one in there, has been punctured. So
probably be bringing along a replacement in the near future. 31 laps to go in this Pro Late Model 35 lapper. There's John White's heading to the pits. Driver from Idaho finishes all in the 20s this week. His best was 25th on the second Pro Late race of the week. I think that car's probably done for the night at the very least.
Beautiful looking race car. It's had some pretty rotten luck so far this week, and it continues here tonight. So Connor Jones scored as the leader. Ryan Luza up to second. Eddie McDonald, Carson Brown, and Brent Cruz, the top 5. Chase Johnson, Hunter Wright, Jimmy Renfrew Jr., Charlie Keevan, and T.J. DeCare round out the top 10. Still a long way to go here. 31 laps in, 4 laps complete.
Florida Modified 35 lapper going to be up next. Then our super late models. What a field of super late models we had last night for the Clyde Hart Memorial 100. For the ASA Southern Super Series, 34 drivers. We're here for that one. And the winner wasn't a surprise in William Byron, with as good as he was the night before. How he ended up winning was a bit of a surprise. He had some good challengers, Stephen Nasse and Bubba Pollard, William Sawalich. They were all up there mixing it up for the lead, and as Byron kind of made his way toward the front, each one of those drivers fell out with some sort of mechanical issues.
I bumped into Carson Hocevar in the pit area earlier this morning, or this afternoon, and he said, man, I'll tell you what, I was so bummed out those 3 drivers had problems. That was shaping up to be one heck of a race. He said, I don't know that any one of those guys could have beaten William Byron, but they sure were going to give him a run for his money. And I'm right there with him. I don't know that anybody was going to beat that 24 car, but they sure were going to make it interesting. And it looks like, again, Connor Jones to the inside, Ryan Luza to the outside for this upcoming restart.
31 laps to go, coming to the 1 to go for Jones and Luza. Now, Jones has a very fast car to the outside. We know Luza's been top qualifier on a couple of occasions this week. Second fast this time, earlier tonight. Received word that one of the competitors hit the cone. 15, and Mario Hart. First appearance of the week for that 15 car.
Saw Mario in action the preseason practice for the ARCA Menard Series, crosstown over at Daytona International Speedway.
Mario Hart, not to be confused with Mario Kart.
You know what? I had to do a double take the first time I saw that printed. Pace car lights off, pulling into the infield. Connor Jones picking up the pace off of turn 4. Ooh, he and Luza make a little contact, and we're going to stack them up. Carson Brown getting a nudge from Eddie McDonald as we go 3 wide into 1.
Well, they tried to wreck. They just didn't succeed as they race off of turn 2. The 44 of Connor Jones leading the way. Second spot up for grabs. It's the 25 taking the position. Carson Brown, Ryan Luza running in third. Brent Cruz leads a battle there for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Ooh, Charlie Keevan gets into the back of Renfrew. Renfrew with a great save off of 2. He's still fighting it. Michael Hind involved. He's got damage to the nose of the 69. Caution flag going to come out. Boy, that wreck took the entire length of the backstretch to materialize. Jimmy Renfrew got a big-time shove from Charlie Keevan, and he fought that car the entire length of the backstretch, and eventually Michael Hind caught up to him and just didn't have anywhere to go, and that is the result.
Michael Hind has not had a great week. He has had some bad luck for sure. Went to a backup car after a crash earlier this week.
Opening night.
Yeah, first race.
Didn't even get past the start-finish line.
Michael Hind was the champion of the World Series points a year ago for Pro Late models. In fact, this is only his second Pro Late race of the week. He finished 21st on the first night.
Let's take a look at what happened off of 2. Keep an eye on the red, white, and blue number 88 car here. He's the one the black number 55 car. He's the one who got into the 00, and then the 88 gave him another shove right there. He's still fighting it, and Michael Hind just didn't have anywhere to go. And he got that car turned around. He's going to drive it back to the pits. One more look at it. Keep an eye on the 55 here. He gets up underneath the rear bumper, Adam, of Jimmy Renfrew. I thought Renfrew was going to bounce her off the fence right there, but he saved it. Got hit again by TJ DeCare, and that sent him down to the bottom side of the racetrack, right where Michael Hind was. And Hind going to come away the worse for the wear. Heavy damage to the nose of the number 69, and he is down on pit road. He's going to hang a hard left and call it a night.
'44 of Jones leading with 30 laps to go. Brown in second. 77 of Luza in the third position. Waiting to line him up after another mishap, this one for the unfortunate victim of Michael Hind.
There was a real good chance we were going to have an incident coming to the green on that one. They were banging fenders all the way off of 4 down into turn 1. And I thought we got away with something there, but that aggressiveness really carried on to that second lap around. And there is a very disappointed, got a smile on his face, but it has been a tough week for Michael Hind.
I think that's the look of smile because there's not much you can do. He's like, wrong place, wrong time again.
Nothing else you can do but smile and hope tomorrow's another day.
It's been quite a bit of time to get to our first 5 laps of this race. The 44 of Jones inside. Taking the outside lane is Brown. This is the third different driver to start alongside the 44 of Connor Jones.
We've seen the 17, we've seen the 77, now the 25.
Jacqueline Drake standing by with one of the victims of a recent yellow. Jacqueline.
Yeah, the 69 of Michael Hind. Unfortunate end for you tonight in the feature event. What happened from your point of view there?
Honestly, it ain't even really racing at this point. Came out here the first night and just ended up in a wreck. Decided not to run it, and then yesterday we were like, you know what? Let's go out and try to win us a race. We weren't in contention for points, but come out here and we can't even complete a lap out here. Should have just left it in the trailer.
Michael Hind, he had a good run last year here in the World Series of Asphalt, and now a torn up race car for that 69.
Wanted to come out and win a race. They knew they were not in contention for points after missing the last 2 events, but thought they could come out and maybe contend for a win. He didn't qualify very well. Started 14th. You put yourself back that far in the field, right in the middle of the pack. All of the action taking place there. Things like that tend to happen a little more often. Coming to green, 5 laps down, Connor Jones gets a good restart, and here comes Carson Brown fighting to the outside in 1.
Carson Brown to the outside. These are the 2 drivers that have swept all of the victories in the Pro Late Model division so far here in 2023. The battle on for second as well. Lose it to the inside of Brent Cruz. Two cars side by side, 2 rows deep off of 4.
Oh, beating and banging for the lead coming across the line. Brown has the advantage. Now Luza gets up there right against the rear bumper of Connor Jones. But into the lead goes Carson Brown, looking strong tonight.
Carson Brown in that Rackley Racing number 25 with a power move off of turn 4. He's going to lead the way and cross the stripe. P1. Connor Jones back to second, a position he is not too familiar with so far here this season.
That outside lane worked out nicely for Carson Brown. I think if you're the leader, you almost got to take that outside lane. He got away with it a couple times, but that time it didn't work. Here's the 00. Racing on the low side of McDonald. It's Jimmy Renfrew Jr. going for what is now the 6th position. Make it 7th. 7th spot McDonald has fallen to as he tries to hang on from his outside pole starting position. Earlier in this race, he has fallen to 7th, still working on that number 6 spot.
Longtime veteran from up in the Northeast, Eddie McDonald knocking fenders with Jimmy Renfrew Jr. down the front stretch. Chase Johnson in the mix there as well. Chase, as we heard earlier, looks like Renfrew sideways. That's going to allow Johnson down to the inside. The battle on for position into 3.
He's going 2 for 1 here, Charlie.
Yeah, and he made contact with both of them as he was going to do it. Nice job there by Eddie McDonald to hold on to the 17 car. But, there we go. More contact between Chase Johnson and Eddie McDonald.
Getting a little rough. Trying to move up here. Chase Johnson in the 20. Slid up the banking a little bit. Got into the left rear. Good save by McDonald. The battle continues for the 6th position. McDonald right now in 6th. Johnson in 7th. Gus Dean in the 56. Fighting for 8th.
Gus Dean to the inside. Jimmy Renfrew to the outside. Renfrew's car not handling very well right now. Dean with the power down. He's going to look to the inside. This is the battle for 8th and 9th on the racetrack. And here we're going to jump up to a battle much closer to the front of the field. Brett Cruz feeling some heat from Hunter Wright. This is the battle for 4th.
Hunter Wright's had a good points week so far as we have a yellow for a spin up in turn number 4 is the 15. Mario Hart has turned it around. Hart was running 28th. That brings out a caution flag with 23 laps to go. There's our longest green flag run of the night so far.
Mario, of course, penalized earlier in the race, sent to the tail end of the field after a restart, choose cone violation, excuse me.
So the 25 of Carson Brown picked up a victory a couple of events ago. He was 4th on the first night for the Pro Lates. He won the 2nd Pro Late race and then fell out DNF in the 3rd event. That hurt him in the points battle. However, would love to pick up a victory, his 2nd of the week here, to tie Connor Jones with 2 wins each. He's got the car to beat right now.
So would you be surprised to find out that Mario Hart has 1.1 million followers on Instagram?
Would be.
Well, he does. How about that?
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. An influencer here with us tonight. Mario Hart in that number 15. Of course, he comes to us from down in South America. I believe he's from Chile. That's how you say that, Chile?
Chile. Going to choose this time at the line. Brown outside. That's where he was able to do it. Jones will be on the inside. The difference here is Brown has the advantage and kind of sets the pace in turn 4. Last time it was Jones from the inside setting the pace. But now Brown's the leader. So that should help his advantage in that outside lane. They touched a couple times, kind of leaning on each other. And they were battling for the lead after the restart. See what happens here. 1 to go signal this time.
And I need to correct that. He's from Peru, not Chile.
All that work to pronounce it correctly, and that's not even where he's from.
Still got it wrong. Oh, my goodness. Still got it wrong. This will be a good restart right here. For the first time tonight, the leader will fire off from the top side of the racetrack. Connor Jones has made that bottom work, Adam, but it's only been on short runs. He's needed those caution flags and those repeated restarts to make that bottom lane route. I think we're going to get some laps in here after this restart. We still have 23 to go, but I think we are going to get a few laps in here. So Carson Brown to the outside, Connor Jones to the inside, Ryan Luza, Brent Cruz back in row 2.
Ready for green in 4. Carson Brown. from Virginia. Another one of the teenagers in this field. There's plenty. A young field of pro late model competitors gaining experience during this week of the World Series. Green is back out. Brown the advantage. Should be able to clear the 44 and does. Car into the wall. Big hit down the front straightaway.
The aptly named crash. Johnny Aramendia hard into the inside wall. And that will put us under the caution flag one more time.
Big hit, nose first into the inside wall. So 12 laps.
We do see him moving around in the cockpit, so good news there. But that was a very heavy crash, Adam.
Yeah, they probably stacked up a little bit, and obviously something made him go toward the inside wall. And Aramendia in the 58 from Texas.
Yep.
And finishes first night 11th, then 20th and 19th. Tonight a DNF, and who knows, maybe the end of the week. Pretty hard hit there for the 58.
We've seen his uncle, Joe Aramendia, here the past couple of years running in the modified division. And if you're wondering why I call him Johnny Crash, there it says it right above the door there, Johnny Crash Aramendia. Not picking on him. That is his nickname. And, of course, he's teaming up with Ben Kennedy Racing. Of course, Ben in the leadership at NASCAR from right here in the Daytona Beach / New Smyrna Beach area. Keep an eye on the black car to the inside. You see him stacking up right there. He's going to get a little shot from behind from Charlie Keevan, and away he goes. That is a big-time crash for Johnny Crash Aramendia. Again,
Definitely a big hit.
Yep, the white and black note, the car with the white hood dropped off the pace, and Aramendia was trying to avoid, and it looked like Charlie Keevan had nowhere to go. Let's take a look full speed and see how quickly this happened. Wow.
Took the hit, definitely lifted off when he hit the wall. Here's another look at it, full speed, boom. Big hit for Aramendia, ending his night on lap 14. There's the driver. Good to see him climb out from behind the wheel of the car, making sure he's okay. He was able to get checked up enough to avoid slamming into the driver in front of him. Keevan couldn't, and those chain reaction deals happen quite often on restarts here at New Smyrna Speedway.
Good looking race car. I like the blue flames. The family business, and you can see it there on the tail quarter panel, the Aramendia family are plumbers down there in Texas.
So the field is already doubled up because we've gone through the last restart.
They're used to this. Yeah.
Get the one to go. Next time, Brown will try to do just as he did moments ago and take the advantage into turn one. He was able to clear the 44 of Jones by the time they got to the first corner.
Ryan Luza and Brent Cruz again. Look at the right side of Brent Cruz's number 24. Lettering rubbed off the tires, got tire marks all over the number. That car was freshly decaled yesterday. Brent's already using it up here tonight in what has been a very physical 35-lap pro late model feature. Let's see what happens here on the restart. Pace car wisely making the hard left-hand turn. Carson Brown way up the racetrack there in 3 and 4, trying to build that momentum as we go back green.
Takes a wide turn into turn one, tries to get a good run from the top down to the bottom. They come close to making contact, maybe a little bit. Lose it to take advantage in the 77 up to second. Tries to drive to the inside of Brown for the lead. First and second up for grabs.
It was interesting to see Carson Brown go way up top. Then he diamonded the corner and made contact with Connor Jones. Jones had to get off the gas, and Ryan Luza just blasted through to take over the second spot. And now here we see the battle on for third on back. Brent Cruz to the inside, Jones to the outside, Hunter Wright is there, Gus Dean is there, Eddie McDonald is there. They are nose to tail off of turn 4.
Outside lane taken by 4 or 5 cars there. The 17 of McDonald pinched down on the yellow line. McDonald has now fallen to the 6th position, but still fighting on that inside groove. Gus Dean to the outside, Chase Johnson there, and then it's double wide, the 00 of Renfrew, the 88 of TJ DeCare.
We saw Charlie Keevan off the pace, making his way down to pit road as the field blasted by there outside of turn 4. There's a couple of good battles on your screen. The battle for the lead, top left. The battle back in the pack, bottom right. Luza trying to close in on Carson Brown and get his week turned around in the 77.
2-car breakaway. We've now completed 16 laps. A couple good 2-car battles there. Chase Johnson on the outside lower right of the screen of the 00 of Renfrew. There's nose to tail toward the front again.
Luza is all over Carson Brown for the lead. Brown, you see the damage to the rear end of that car. He's had a couple of people come knocking as we come back to the halfway point this time around. Hard to believe we are only halfway home here in what has been a marathon, another slugfest here for the Pro Late Models.
77 of Luza, a little bit faster right now than Carson Brown. Luza, despite being just 26 years of age, is a driver who has just about more late model experience in these Pro Late Model cars than anybody in the field. And he makes a run to the inside just as we have a crash down in turns 3 and 4. They still keep piling in. It's not as bad as what we have seen. There goes Hart down to the apron, the 15. It's not been a good debut for that 15 car. The 94 turned around as well. That's Luciano. And up against the wall is the 7 of Mitch Haver. So a yellow at the halfway mark. We were working lap 18 of 35, and toward the back of the field, several cars involved, bringing out yet another yellow.
And boy, Mario Hart, I think he had gone to the outside hoping that was going to be where the clear lane was, and he found Tony Breidinger really slowing down to avoid that whole mess, and he really piled in. There you see Mario climbing out of that car, the black car down at the head end of pit road right there. So it looks like Mario's going to be mostly okay. I think that's more disappointment than anything. As we see the 94 car pulling away. The 7 car still stopped alongside the outside wall there in turn 3. There's a lot of damage. Look at the damage on Ruben Caceres's number 77 car. That car's already had some body panels replaced here.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to fit the template.
Not anymore, that is for sure.
So severe damage on the 77, mostly cosmetic. Severe cosmetic damage would be the best way to put that.
That's how I would put it.
It's a lot of work to go on and get that bumper back in place. And there's the 7 of Haver. Flat right rear, probably more damage to the left side of the car when it got up against the wall. You can see the nose piece also tore up. Driver out, though.
I'm going to guess that flat right rear tire might be what have instigated this whole thing over there in turns 3 and 4. Good to see him climbing out of that. Damaged number 7 car.
So working under yellow, 17 laps to go, 18 laps in. Carson Brown leading, and as cleanup continues, we will take our first time out of the night here on FloRacing. We'll reset, we'll reline them up, and we'll go back to green after this.